Yes, people, welcome to Never a Foul, back to your daily streams. I just come off a Litty stream off a Monster. A lot of you might have come off a Monster stream talking anime, talking pretty much what we're going to talk about, but I'm going to try and mix it up a little bit and go more in depth. But yeah, man, the most important thing is if you are watching this back or you're here right now and you've just come into the show as well, make sure you like the video. It's the more likes, the better. As you can see from there, look.
I don't know what it's done this time.
That's
I didn't know he was going to do that.
That's right. Like the video. Hey, you see what
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. That's what we like to see, man. But yeah, we're joined by Mr. Joe and obviously Mr. Mons and obviously Miss Roms. So big up all that.
Said yes, cheeky.
Oh, what?
I thought that didn't even over my head. That didn't even over my head.
But big up to everyone that's in the chat talking amongst one another. But what are you guys saying anyways? Well, actually, I don't care what Mons is saying. I don't care what Roms is saying. I already know what they're saying. But Joe, how you been, man? You been ill? Been away a little bit?
Yeah, I was at a wedding. I was at a wedding on Saturday, mate. So it got a little bit leery. So yeah, I was rough, but I was back at the gym yesterday. I'm just glad proper football's back, mate. To be honest, because the international break kills me off. I enjoyed England last night, I can't lie. Jude Bellingham, for me, will go down as probably the greatest ever English player. And I know that's wild to say so early, but I just think he's that good. So, yeah, that was nice. Rashford scored as well. Maybe you'll see an upturn in form. I thought he played well for England. Kane, different gravy as per. So, yeah, it was a good game to watch that last night for England. But I just want normal football back, mate.
Yeah, same. But we've only got 4 weeks of it until we have to go through another one. It's crazy, isn't it? And 4 weeks just flies just like that, man. You know what it is with streaming, and like obviously all three of us own a channel, right? And obviously I know Roms doesn't, but it may be even for Roms when you jump on, right, just to talk on subjects. Yeah. But oh my word, bro, the international break really makes you just, I don't know, it makes me start debating life.
Guys, you know what's funny, yeah? Have you realized you're spot on, because during the international break, even like ESPN are the worst at this. I'm going to call out ESPN FC. You know the recycled questions? Who's better, Salah or Hazard? Rank these top 6 Premier League strikers. They just recycle the same questions over and over again. And I just, you know, I take things in the international break with a pinch of salt because people lose their minds. Honestly, people actually lose their minds. They go crazy. So if someone says something outlandish in the international break, just bear with them. It's the international break. They'll become normal again once the football comes back. But yeah, you're spot on, Kaz. You're spot on.
You're right with that one though. Like these international breaks it's just day by day, bro. I'm struggling in it. It's hard out here.
Yeah. Of big pause.
Yeah.
I like, bro, it's the only thing about international break that's good is that I get to take a break. Obviously this is my full-time job. I think this is Joe's full-time job now. Yeah, and obviously Mons is turning into yours eventually. Obviously you got a lot of things. You got a lot of things going on for yourself as it is, but bro, like when you take that break, trust me, you know how hard it is to get into the knack of things when there's barely anything to talk about again. It's just like, wow, are people even going to tune in just to even want to hear me talk shit on their clubs? Because that's what I'm going to do. So
yeah, let's fight, guys. Let's keep it like 100% though. Obviously, like Kaz didn't take a break because he wanted to take a break.
I did take a break.
No. Kaz took it. No. Kaz took a break because the Glazers had him on layaway. Like,
you want to talk? This guy's a waffle job, you know.
I couldn't even get through to him.
Imagine this. I didn't want to talk about. No, I didn't want to talk about it.
Let me run you my call up.
You called me 4 or 5 times and I aired all of them. How about that? But all I'm going to say is, right, as a Man United fan, as a content creator, right, these would have done me numbers. So on a business side of things, in terms of how much money or whatever you can make off a stream, which I don't really care about too much time because I'm just all about for the entertainment levels. And I know you lot missed out on entertainment levels from that because I know they got caned. But why would I miss out such a thing about Man United when I'm on every stream when we lose, whether it's 7-0 by you lot, 6-3 by Man City, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So why would I miss out? Does that make any sense? Broms, does that make any sense?
When you put it like that, it doesn't, because your numbers would have went higher and whatnot. But I just feel like because you were, I'm not gonna say so sure, but because you were, let's say 70% sure they will come in, and you were but you were happy with the Qatari investment.
That's not what I was trying to hear, G.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let me just chime in. Let me just chime back in. As I said, Kaz, I know.
Are we not learning our lessons, bruv? I'm getting tired of this already, mate.
Basically, you're disappointed. You're disappointed. You're upset. You're hurt.
Are you still Sheikh Cass on Twitter?
No, he changed it.
Has he told you the new name? Has he told you the new name?
No, I've not seen it.
Let's get one thing straight. Yeah, I changed the flag for a better flag. Hold tight, Palestine. Yeah, hold tight, them man. Big up them man. Because honestly, I'm not gonna get political, but Man of Solomon, get in the damn bin. In a bit, get sacked. Yeah. Anyways, that's my true feelings. Whether you like it or not, I don't give a shit. But other than that, yeah, man.
Talk about. Do you know? Can I ask you on that though, bro? Can I ask you a question on the Radcliffe?
Cascliff is alive. Sir Cascliff. Yeah, right. I'm a backer because I have to.
Mate, how's it gonna work, right? Because I believe is he taking like 25%, but he's gonna control all the football operations side of it, something like that.
So from what I've read and from what I know, obviously as much as probably everybody else, this is how it's perceived right now. Man said Jim will fix it. So what I know, to get one foot in the door, they want to still hang around. They never wanted a full sell. To get one foot in the door, because he's offered other offers, right? The 67%, and obviously there was 100% at one point at the start. He's offered 25%, but he wants all the sporting decisions and everything along the sporting side of things. He wants all of that. But even with that, with Ineos, the whole part of the company says that eventually the Glazers will sell up their shares, and it has to be a guarantee that they end up selling up to Ineos, so they have full control in the end. And I don't know, the timescale they have said is 3 years, but knowing football and the way things go, it will probably be between 3 and 6 years, in my opinion.
It's just like if he's gonna go on, mate. Go.
No, it's a quick one. Quickly, as rivals, we have to thank Joe and Avram, don't we? Because the rest apparently wanted to leave. It's just them two that wanna stay, apparently.
All I know, John Murto and Richard Arnold they are shaking in their boots. They are shaking in their boots. Their jobs are under big threat. But yeah, man. Less about Man United. It's not about Man United today.
Sorry, Lee. Joe had something to say.
I was just gonna ask about like if he's taking like control of the football operations. I just don't know how it's still gonna work transfer wise, because if he's only gonna put 25%, like if he only owns 25%, they're not going to expect him to put all that money in, or he's not going to expect himself to put all that money in. Do you know what I mean? If you're buying certain players, I just don't know how it's going to work.
So the way I know is that from what I've read for people that I probably haven't gone into, the 1 point whatever billion that's going to the Glazers, they can do whatever they want with that. That's theirs, right? They're probably going to pocket it because it makes sense. From what I know, Ineos are going to have to invest to put money into infrastructure, which is being said, right? And also they will put money into transfers for January, because the whole point is that he wants January to happen for himself. And which is going to be tight and hard to do overall anyways, because January period is a bit of a sticky one in terms of transfers regardless. And then just pretty much go from there. That's as far as I know. So they're going to end up putting their own money into the club, but they're not going to put money into a club for infrastructure after having 25% and only sporting rights, right? So it only makes sense that the gradual takeover happens. But yeah, man. Let's continue with the stream. 10 minutes in, it's like a month stream, a little bit. Guys, make sure you smash the like button. There's 300 of you in here. 10 minutes in, make sure you smash the like button. And also, Big Six Bands is nearly on 7K. So close to 7K. We need to get them to that 10K mark, hopefully by end of the year, or if not January. I think it can be done. So if you haven't done so yet, the link is in the description below. I'm going to pin it as well. And also, Leeds, I know Joe is a Leeds fan, but trust me, the content is worth it. Go watch his live watch-alongs. They are lit. When Leeds lose,
so close to 25 as well, you know. So close to 25.
Leeds when he lose, this guy on the watch-along, yeah.
Make that happen, people. Make that happen.
Even in general, bro, big up Joe, because I'm not gonna lie, I've recently started watching your channel, The Insight, and it's proper. Make sure you go over.
You've got, for me, 2 of the top 3 content creators on my YouTube network. No joke. On the stream right now. So that's just my opinion. But other than that, Monster's definitely third. But what's it called? We're going to be talking about Tonali in this situation. I'm going to dive into it a little bit more than we did it on the Monster stream. We kind of made fun of it. But
Hey.
Tonali, we're going to be talking about Spurs' potential injuries and what it can mean for their season in case it does happen. It's nothing actually is confirmed. And also Reece James, whether it's illness, another injury setback, more fitness setbacks and so forth. We're going to talk about Chelsea and a little bit of Arsenal as well, what it could be for that game and where the game might even be won a little bit as we're going to build up towards the actual preview itself. But talking of the Tonali, I'm going to go straight to Joe personally. They are talking a maximum of 3 years. Yeah. And they're talking about a minimum of 1 year, right? Which is more than likely going to be the suspension. Now, I don't know what he's bet on. I don't know exactly what he's done exactly, if it's on himself or anything. No details have been provided. All I know is underground betting and he's betting on Milan when he's not playing. But 1 year to 3 years, don't you think this is just totally wrong by football in general? Because it's the same thing with Ivan Toney. He should never, rules are rules. If Toney got a lengthy ban, then so should Tonali, right? But the thing is, I hate the narrative. It's like if you got an addiction or something like an issue, shouldn't football be helping these guys rather than condemning them away from football? Because I can't imagine that the mental health side of things, because we love to gloat about mental health. Like, same thing for Ivan Toney. It's the exact same thing. What he must be going through, or what he has gone through, and now Tonali as well. They must be in the bin because football's an escapism, is it not?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. See, for me, there's a difference between someone who likes to gamble and someone who's addicted to gambling. There's no guarantees that these guys are addicted to gambling. They've just got more money than sense and therefore want to put it. Now, of course, they can throw out that line. I'm not questioning anyone's like morality here. Like, it seems to me though, if I'm a footballer and I've got a press team and that, it's like, yeah, you're an addict. You're going to GA or whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure they are addicts. If they are, then of course they need supporting. I caught a bit of your stream on Monch channel, and I think you're right in saying how can we expect these footballers to not be involved with gambling when everywhere they look there is gambling? Do you know what I mean? It's everywhere. It's on the advertising boards. It's on the shirts. It's on the adverts. It's like, you know, it's a madness. But I think the thing is betting on games that they're involved in, right? And I think, you know, I don't know if Tonali's done that, but I don't want to be like is it xenophobic? I don't know, but this happens a lot in Italy. These sort of issues. We've seen it with a bit of corruption with Juve, etc. You know, and apparently I forget the reporter's name, but he was on TV last night, and apparently this list is extensive. It's not. These are just the top players.
Mons said there was about 40 players.
Yeah, so many.
Bro, how can you pick up 40 players and say, you know what, them two have got a name? Let's condemn them. I want to know who the other 40 are.
It's a suspect though, not full on evidence. Like they got a list of man in it. So I
think in time, they might start to reveal more names. But I think when they get more sufficient evidence, I think they're going to start to reveal more names. I don't think they'll stop at just these two. Maybe they're the most high profile and they maybe want to make an example out of them. I don't know. But I think over time, they're definitely going to reveal more names.
Yeah. And the mad thing is, this guy who's released, I think his name's Corona, he actually got sent to prison for, he got sent to prison.
Corona.
I swear that's his name. I swear. Yeah, Corona. Yeah.
What's the number on the back of the shirt? 19.
Nah, man, he's not football. No, but this guy, right? He got sent to prison for blackmailing footballers. So he would take photos of them in like dodgy situations with women or whatever, and then say, listen, you either buy these photos from me or I sell them to the press. So this guy's shady anyway. So he might have even got this through shady operations, because how's he found out this illegal betting group? So it feels to me that someone's maybe give him this information. But yeah, it seems like it's widespread, in it. It's widespread. But I think it goes on anyway. Like you look at people like Merson and that, who had like gambling addiction back in the day. They used to just get people to go to the shop to do it for them. You know, I assume that still goes on in some capacity. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's mad. It's mad.
Yeah, I was going to ask this as well then, because we kind of went about it as well in terms of what it can mean for Newcastle's immediate season. Currently coming up in terms of the next, you could say, till January, right? I think January they're gonna have to sort themselves out with a centre mid again nowadays, because they're down to bare bones once. And obviously we touched on it. I don't want it to be like an echo chamber, but we didn't actually go towards the actual depths of where it could lead them, because now they've only got about 4 midfielders fit enough to go, and maybe a youngster that can do a job. So if we name a few, Lewis Hill could do a job there. If need be, he has played the centre mid. He can do it again. They've got Elliot Anderson, baller, much more attacking, as you mentioned as well. Quality player. They've got Longstaff, Joe Linton, who's got reoccurring knee issues, which is a bit of an issue in itself, and it's not fully there, but he's still around. And obviously they've got Bruno Gomes, but they don't have no Joe Willock. Now, when you think of quality, and we're talking about Champions League, we're talking about high caliber games, and we're talking about the season in fatigue. Does this not mean it might be a factor in terms of obviously their season, in your opinion?
Are you asking me there?
No, months.
Oh, I did think, yeah.
I think in my opinion, Joe, I think that's enough. In the
Yeah, because I didn't actually. I was on the phone when I was listening to you. So
in Europe, I'll be real. In Europe, yeah, I feel like they've put themselves in a position to get them over the line until they can maybe find a fix. So again, whether that means Willock comes back from injury, whether they find a midfield that works and that can go for that can at least last them into, like, if Newcastle go on to lose the rest of their European fixtures, that is a disaster. But I don't actually think they need to, because everyone else has to play each other. Newcastle being on 4 points, they put themselves at a massive advantage, where even if they were to draw the next 2 games, it's still in their hands. So for me, one more win for me guarantees them through into the next round for me. Just mathematically, it's not mathematically guaranteed, but one.
No, but I think it is once. I think it is one more win, because how many games have they played? 2.
2. That
3.
4 points.
Actually, no, you're right. Sorry, I thought they had already played 3. Now you're right. Sorry.
It's not mathematically there, but because everyone else plays each other, like one more win for them. And again, it's difficult to say one more win against Dortmund, one more win against Milan, one more win against PSG. So it's easier said than done. I think for them, it's going to fire them up, because any 3 points is massive in that group. And I still think they go through. And listen, Tonali for me was the perfect UCL midfielder for them, because he's the one with the experience. He's the one that's been there. Obviously, Bruno's been there as well, but him and Tonali were massive in that PSG win. So I guess for me, they're going to have to play it. The thing is, though, the Newcastle we saw that beat PSG, they were at 100%. They can't go into games 80. Because when they were at 80, 70%, Milan made them look like they were average, very average. You know what I'm saying? Milan made them look very, very average. So they're going to have to really utilize that home crowd. And I think in the away fixtures, they're going to have to, away days in the rain, they're going to have to get that draw, counter attack. I don't think they can go into those games thinking they could dominate football without Tonali, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Go on, man.
I've got a question for you, right? And I know their depth isn't as good as City's, nowhere near. But you remember when the charges came out for City, it was kind of like a catalyst to do more. Like City went on, it kind of spurred them on. Do you think it could have the same effect on Newcastle in the sense that it could galvanize the players they do have available, and then they go on a little run? I know their depth isn't as good as City's, but it could. These situations can bring you together.
100%, and it galvanizes the fan base. The Newcastle fan base is huge anyway. I mentioned this before, saying, like, for me, St. James's, especially in the Champions League, will be a different. And we all seen the atmosphere against PSG. It was unbelievable.
Crazy,
and I think what it does, the Newcastle fans as well were already galvanised because of all the issues with the Saudi ownership and that, and we've seen what happened when they went from relegation zone to finishing top. Then they get Champions League, and now this is thrown at them. I think, I don't know if Tonali should be punished from the club though, because, or is that a bit too far? Because I'm a bit like, did he know what was going on and he signed? And maybe you don't know, did AC Milan know some? I don't know. Did they go, yeah, go on then, away you go? Do you know what I mean? I don't know, man.
I think AC Milan kind of knew, because if you deep the situation, you've got one of your best talents from your best products from your academy. He could go on to be one of the best in the world. The talent's there. You can nurture him, and you're kind of just flogging him. I know a lot of Italian clubs need money and whatnot, but you don't think it was so kind of quick how they
want to go either, really, did
exactly.
Go.
He didn't even want to leave. So maybe AC, you've got a good point there, Joe. Maybe AC Milan knew something that everyone else didn't.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know these.
But Elliot Anderson, though, he's a player, really good player. So I'm excited to see more of him, man, for sure.
Do you know what I'll say about Elliot Anderson as well? I know this is like a kind of a weird analogy, like a weird way to put it, but like you see how Evan Ferguson is like. Evan Ferguson probably came onto the scene at a similar time to Elliot Anderson, and I remember seeing Elliot Anderson and thinking, this kid's just as good. I think for me, he's a lot more attacking game play. He plays as a striker as well at times. And obviously, because Evan Ferguson, for me, his path to the first team is a bit easier. I think with Brighton, they're more forthcoming with players like Adingra, Ballet, but they're happy for those type of players to come through. But I think Elliot Anderson, I think his road to the first team was a bit more difficult. And I think he is cold. If you actually look at his game, he is a good player. So I
want to know if anything happens to AC Milan as well, by the way. It's true what my man says. AC Milan, if they got all these players that had or in and around, they 100% knew of Tonali. That's probably why they shipped him in the first place. Does it not make sense now? Slightly.
Yeah. That's what we're saying. Because he was one of their best products from their academy, and the talent's there. Why do you want to offer? And it's not even like he's one of their best products. He established himself as a starter. Even when we played him in the Champions League, he had decent games against us. He was sticking out in that midfield. Him and Benacer, I think it's Benacer. Them two are playing well together. But I don't know, man. I think Milan knew.
If I'm Newcastle, I'd be making a case against Milan 100 million%, because he didn't want to leave. They sold him for 60 million. It was a very quick deal as well, by the way, very quick. Yeah. Bro, there's something fishy about that. If I'm Newcastle, I'll be definitely going to take them to court, because there's no way they didn't know about someone's gambling addictions. That most teams know about situations within their own players anyways that they try to cover up. So that's the way I look at it.
Was he captain too?
I think he might have been. Might have been. I know he wasn't Milan's. He wasn't from the academy, was he? But he was there for. He was there for time.
I thought he was. My bad. I thought he was from the academy.
No, he's from. No,
but even still, though, he was their main guy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
He was from. I know he was from somewhere like Brescia or something like that. Yeah, or Brescia. And then he came to Milan around 2020. He had that loan. He had a loan, and then he was there for like 3 years. But as a youngster coming through, that's where he built his name more. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it is well. Guys, make sure you're smashing the like button as well. There's 400 people in the house. We are on 121 likes. Please, if you just take some time out, like when I take some, I mean literally about 2 seconds. Make sure the fun button, which Joe's gonna do in a second. This little fun button that we need. Let's see if it happens. Man, need to get a bit closer.
It's going to be awkward.
The FBI. Yeah.
Oh, damn, it didn't come up. Pause. But yeah, man, make sure to smash the like button if you don't mind. Just a friendly reminder, just to keep you guys obviously on your toes a little bit. But yeah, moving off of the whole Tonali stuff, it is more political than anything. Let's talk about. I'm gonna maybe flip it. There's potential injuries all around the books right now, in terms of most teams, but there's one team that's pretty much their whole success this season will be basically if they can keep fit. Now, obviously, Mons alluded to it earlier. Obviously, Romero, potential ankle injury, doesn't mean he might play against Fulham or not. It's not the worst thing in the world, but one game without him could mean the world to Spurs. Does that make sense? Even if it's 2 games, it might mean the world without him. The Basuma as well, once again, he alluded to on his own stream, so make sure you check that out. We weren't going to dive into it too tough, but Basuma, red card, another card away from getting suspended and all that. And then the main one for me, it's not even Romero, it's not even that, it's Son playing through a groin injury, which is severe. Now, we're talking about the Premier League, we're not talking about a friendly. So he's playing through groin injury. It takes a while to recover from that, and that can alter your performance in general, Joe. Do you reckon this is where Spurs now need to be a bit more careful, and this is where Ange, since he's got 2 I think he's got 2 manager of the month awards, right?
Yeah, that's right. And 2 Spurs players, obviously Maddison first month and then Son second month, I think, player of the month, wasn't it? So...
Yeah, because I got a feeling Spurs are going to play them regardless through injury, which most people do anyway. Well, most managers do. They have to, right? Until January. But if they keep, especially Son, forget the Romero one, the Son one, if he gets injured, that attack collapses, in my opinion. It's done.
Yeah.
And
I think... Go on.
That's why I said this is what we're probably concerned about in the first place when we were talking about Spurs being in and around the top of the table. Anyways, in terms of that respect.
Yeah, I think we've already seen, I think Ange started the season with what's his face, R9, Richarlison up top, didn't he, for a bit? And it didn't work, and then Son had to go in there, and then he's kept it like that. And I just feel that if Son is out for a period of time and Richarlison's expected to get the goals, I don't think he's going to get them. I think this is the thing. I've never think Spurs were in a title race anyway. I seen some mad take on Twitter the other day saying Bentancur, Maddison and Basuma's better than City's midfield. I don't know if you all seen that. And it was a bit mad, but they were getting a bit giddy. But I just think they will do well, and obviously top 5 for Champions League this season. They're definitely in with the shout, and it is good football that they're playing. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy Mickey van der Ven. I thought Udogie was good last night for Italy as well. He looks very good. So I just feel like you've mentioned a few injuries, and they're done. And I have no confidence, and I assume Spurs fans feel exactly the same, that in January Daniel Levy will give them what they need. Because I've read that maybe Højbjerg might be getting sold and they want 25 million euros, and you're thinking, oh, okay, that's probably all right, you get rid. But then will he then invest that in a decent enough player to come in and bolster out Ange's squad? I'm not too... That's where the change has to be for Spurs. For them to maintain this, they need to go in the window and actually do some decent bits when the opportunity is there. The opportunity is there now. Will they? I'm not too sure. But yeah, a few injuries from crisis, I think.
Does any of you two actually believe, like legit, do any of you believe that this could really affect Spurs this season? Or do you reckon Ange will definitely pull it through? Like, this is different now. Like, Ange is a proper coach.
I don't think the fall off will be Spursy, like as in like they're dropped to 8th or some stuff like that. I don't think Spurs they're no longer at that level for me. I know it's early to say that, but they're just no longer. I know football when I see it in it. However, what people seem to forget is that if you actually look at how long Maddison and Son played just against Liverpool, how long they played against Luton, these men are playing 60 to 70 minutes. Man aren't clocking it. They're playing 60 to 70 minutes. Do you know why? Because Ange is trying to monitor their fitness because they're not even 100% fit. They were fitness doubts after the Liverpool game.
Yes.
There were doubts for the Liverpool game also. And obviously, Luton, Ange has been monitoring them well, and he's been taking them off 60, 70, kind of maybe just 75th minute, and then monitoring them. So for them to go on international duty and for Son to play through an injury when he's not actually supposed to be completing 90 minutes. If I put it this way, if Ange is not giving Son 90 minutes for Spurs, why is Son playing 90 minutes for his country? Why is he playing 90 minutes for South Korea? And he also admitted that he had a groin injury and he thugged it out. He thugged it out and he played the full 90 anyway.
And he wants to...
Do you know what it is? This shows that Ange still has a kind of long way to go, as in like stay in his authority, because Fergie and Klopp, if they didn't want to play playing, they're not playing, bro. They're not playing for their country. And Ange should have sold the South Korean manager, look, I know obviously it's his country, he loves his country, but manage him, please. The fact he played him 90 minutes in a friendly and still has a way to go, man. He needed to be a bit more vocal.
I just think it's so obvious that Son, if Ange could play Son for 90 minutes, he will play Son for 90 minutes, bro. He's not going to take off Son because I feel like he needs to, let me just take him off because we can afford to take him off. No, your next of kins are 90. Next of kin, regardless, bro. Like, let's be honest, bro. If Son could play 95 minutes in a 90-minute game with 2 minutes extra time and keep him on for another 3 minutes when everyone's clapping and he's shooting on the pitch,
to be fair, Ange, he has actually managed the team quite well. Son 70 minutes here. The winger sometimes doesn't play full games. Like, he has rotated, in fairness. So I think his man management, I think he's got a good eye for it, in my opinion. But this is another step where it's a bit like Arsenal last year, yeah? You know, when we kept doubting Arteta, we kept doubting Arsenal, and we kept doubting little aspects of the game of what's happening. But until we got to about game week 20, and you're like, oh shit, you know what, Arsenal the real deal. See, this is the same thing with Spurs. Obviously to rivals, maybe not to themselves, but we're still trying to be. We're going to be critical of it, but we're trying to yet to be proved why he's the right man for that job. So now it's at a point. It's like, can you manage? Because there's a lot of injuries in world football right now, and bad ones. Yeah. And now we're going to see his man management skills come into play. So we'll probably get to see what minutes are played where. Even Maddison don't play 90 minutes sometimes.
Why am I in the chatting rubbish? Son's last 90-minute game was game week 3. And after that, he's been playing 71, 68, 75. And I'm not saying he's been injured for all those games, but there was a fitness doubt for Son and for Maddison going into the Liverpool game. And do
you know what it is? Just to echo what Munt said, I don't think they're going to get Spurs again. I think Ange changed that mentality, but I do think, and I was saying this earlier to you too, they see their first loss, potentially first couple of losses before the next. Put it like this: I think Spurs by the next international break in a month's time will be 3rd and 4th, which is still good for them, and I still think their fans will accept that. But I think the title talk will die down. They'll kind of come back to their 2 feet, kind of come back to reality, because I feel that if these injuries are true, they're going to lose a few games, and it will set them back a bit. They won't be lingering around the top this time in about 4 weeks' time. So, to answer your question, Kaz, they'll be set back slightly, but not like what Mont said, not like 7th and 8th. I don't think it'll be to 7th and 8th. They'll just have a minor setback.
Yeah, and also, hold on, so just quickly, big up to the Spurs fans who haven't called me a hater and as someone who hates the blood of Spurs because I was honest about. I showed an honest opinion about their club. Not talking about the Arsenal fans. I wouldn't be talking about the Arsenal fans like they've done that.
Joe, who do you? So one more question, and this ain't to do with Spurs injuries or nothing. Who, before we talk on Chelsea, who plays them? Who do you reckon? Is Benton? Does anyone? Well, actually, quick one. Is Benton going back now?
I think he's training.
Training?
Yeah,
all right,
and it's not even training with the team, Kaz. You know when it's that individual running and whatnot.
November. It says November on.
Also might be injured. Just letting you know.
And he's been key for them.
Yeah, he suffered a knock and he came off against for Senegal. So that's another one that's potential. Who feels in Basuma's position, and do you reckon that changes much? Because every time he has come off the pitch for Højbjerg, right, or Højbjerg's even come alongside him, it hasn't exactly looked great towards on paper.
It'll either be Højbjerg or Skip, won't it? Ollie Skip.
That's me and Kaz's guy. I rate Ollie Skip.
I like Skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder. I'm just curious. They got a few big games coming up soon. So,
but do you know what, that drop off? Like you said, I think if Basuma gets another yellow, he will then be suspended for the following game, because it's not a straight 3 games. It's just 1 at the moment, isn't it?
One.
Yeah.
So I think if Sarr and Basuma is obviously suspended, and Sarr's, if he is injured, you then kind of put in Højbjerg and Skip, and the drop off. I rate Skip. Højbjerg's on the slow decline, but the drop off is quite big now. It is quite big.
It's the drop off is we yet to see it, isn't it? That's going to be a visual. Chelsea Football Club, another one that can't stay away from the injuries, but they have got some positive news and some bad news. So people that are wondering if Cole Palmer is injured. He's not injured. He's fit and he's ready to play. He's confirmed. And actually, Pochettino was actually full of praise about Cole Palmer, saying he actually surprised him. So that's one positive. Another positive that Axel Disasi is fit to play against Arsenal, so he'll be ready as well to play that game. Who's been a monster for them lately. Who I called the French Maguire at the start of the season.
I called him.
Guys, you know what it was? You know what it is? Give him his flowers. Like he's been excellent for Chelsea recently, but I just still don't. You know when you get that feeling, I still just don't. You know, I still don't really rate him. Big him up though. He's been excellent recently, but I don't know. I feel like he'll get found out again soon.
Yeah, and the last one I'm gonna say is we need an uncomfortable conversation with some of these guys that are Chelsea fans in here. So Nathan Gissing come out earlier and he was saying Reece James is about to face Arsenal, which was always going to happen, I think. But he apparently got an injury in training about 10 days ago when he's training by himself, right? And then there's other reports saying that he's not on the injury list and that he only was ill. But it's not the point if he's available. For me, it's not the point if he's available or he's not available to play for Chelsea. I think the conversation is that he cannot stay fit and he is the captain of Chelsea as well, but you're never present. Don't you think, Joe, that it's maybe it's becoming a time, if the case, he needs to really prove himself this season, or let's have another uncomfortable conversation, because the fitness part, his ability part's great, but his fitness part is not great.
Yeah, like staying fit has to be like, you can't really blame him, can you? I don't think he's not managing himself correctly. You know what I mean? Just some players go through this, and it's unfortunate because I actually really like Reece James. I remember him in the Championship. He was on loan at Wigan when we were down there, and he was an absolute colossus, man. Absolutely unreal. And I rate him. I think would you say he's the most complete right back we've got for the England setup in terms of his all-round game?
I've been saying this. I agree. Yeah.
Like Trent's obviously good at certain things, and Walker, etc. But I just think all-round James is probably the complete package. But it's a shame for him, innit? Because like I said, but like if you've made someone the captain and they're never there, then that's not great either, is it? So I'll always back him because I think he's quality, but you've got to be fit, haven't you, in order to play?
Yeah. I think the uncomfortable conversation has to happen now. I'll be honest. You got to look at yourself as a project, as Todd Bowley, and I'm not a Chelsea fan. I know that, and maybe other Chelsea fans have a different view towards it and a different love towards it. But it's like Martial for Man United. That was pretty much my favorite player over this shit decade, right? But he's never around, and it's time to say, you know what? Enough is enough, man. Like, you're breaking down. You're going to get worse. Injury after injury, you're going to get worse. Same thing for Chilwell. Don't look the same anymore compared to what he was looking like 2 years ago. He's nowhere near his level. Luckily for them, though, Mons, they got Malagusto, right? And you was picking him up on your stream. Malagusto cost them peanuts. I wanted him at Man United. I was screaming for this guy, yeah? He's a good lock-up defender, and I think he's proven his worth going forward. And even his fitness alone, he's just technically sound. Like, he's a serious defender at his age, right? So they've already got someone competent enough to fill in that role. And it's not like, when you're deep in last 3 games or so, I don't think Chelsea have missed Reece James to an extent. Even with Cucurella at right back, they've looked good.
Yeah, no, I think to be fair, Malagusto, he's just been one of Chelsea's best players. I don't care about the red card. It happens, similar to the Curtis Jones when you went over the ball. It happens, innit? But in terms of his actual performance, you want to be objective about it. He has been one of Chelsea's better players, and I think he's been one of the better right backs in the league. Let's call a spade a spade. Like, he has been very good. So, and I think again, there's little things he can work on, but for the money they got him for and the potential that he possesses, again, it is really positive for Chelsea. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Cucurella will probably go back to left back, and I think that will probably suit Levi Colwill to maybe go back into centre back, and maybe one of them, either Thiago Silva or Dizarcy.
Do you genuinely believe that, though? I genuinely believe Pochettino views Colwill as his left back choice, first left back choice.
No, because
he looks out of place, man.
Yeah, man, and the reason why I think he's going to put him back into that left centre back role, when he's put him back in that role, Chelsea just look better as a whole. Even I know it was Burnley and they went 1-0 down that, but him and Thiago Silva in that centre back pairing, I just think he's looked uncomfortable at left back. He has. I'm not saying he can't do a job there, but he will excel more in that centre back role.
I agree. Yeah.
But back to kind of, I say quickly on Reece James, that was saying earlier, I just don't want him to fall into that kind of category of players like your Diabys, your Ledley Kings, your Wilshires, where they come back for 2 or 3 games and he's gone again because the talent is undeniable and you want to see these players play. And like we were saying earlier, it's even good from a rival point of view, like him and Trent in the battles. I truly believe when you have a player in a rival team that's as good as you, it raises levels. We saw it with Salah and Kane, Salah and Mane within the same team. Reece James and Trent, when Reece James stayed fit majority of one season, him and Trent had their little battle as well. And even for England, you see them having banter about it. I think it's healthy. It's healthy to have that competition. But I just hope Reece James can stay injury-free, generally.
Yeah, I think it's just he's got to prove himself to. He's got to prove himself to himself, really, mate. First and foremost, himself that he can stay fit and he can still maintain at the top level. Then you got to probably prove it to the fans that he can as well. Obviously, by staying fit, and then to the manager, because guess what? Other than that, we've seen careers come and go through injuries all the time. But you know what? The last part I'm going to dive into before anything is a little touch, not too long, because I want to save more of the conversation for tonight. Is Chelsea versus Arsenal. So I don't want to do up preview settings or nothing like that, but I want to know if anyone, before we do that, actually, guys, we are 20 likes away. There's 640 of you in here, 650 now. Please smash the like button if you don't mind. Just a friendly reminder. So anyone that's come over from Lewis's stream or any other stream or just joined in now, it's just a friendly reminder. I don't know if it's going to work on Joe's camera, but the thumb looks like this. It's the bread and butter of the show, and it's the bread and butter of YouTube itself.
So I think you need to do it further back from the screen, then it will work.
Is he going to do it? He's not doing it. He's not doing it. It's not working for him no more. He don't like Joe. It's oh my word. He does like though, isn't it? But yeah, man, if you could take 2 seconds of your time and just quickly smash the like button, just exit the live chat. So hit the like, guys, man. I appreciate every single one of you who's subscribed and has liked the video. But yeah, so moving forward is the Chelsea versus Arsenal. Does anyone believe Chelsea can get a result? And I'm pretty sure it's at the Bridge as well.
Yeah, maybe not win, but I think they can get a draw. I think Chelsea are really going to surprise a lot of people. This is a London derby at the end of the day, and Chelsea aren't going to. I just don't think the fans will have it, bro. Especially if Kai Havertz probably likely to start that game. The fans are going to be up for it. I think Arsenal have all the quality to make Chelsea look very ordinary, but at the same time, it's not just about quality in games. The best thing about the Premier League is that despite the quality of certain sides, even though the level is very high in the Premier League, anyone can beat anyone, maybe bar the bottom two. Anyone can beat anyone. And then, especially in the derby, I generally think Chelsea are going to surprise a few of us, especially in this really difficult run that they have. And Arsenal, yes, the routine thing is that Arsenal should win. But if Chelsea get 3 points, which this is mad, I think they draw in it. If they get 3 points, do you know what this does to their confidence for the difficult games going forward? Do you know what that does for them? They'll go into every one of those games thinking they can clock anyone. Not even gonna lie. But you know what I'm saying? Mudryk coming off a goal. I'm not saying he's gonna start, but Mudryk coming off a goal. Cole Palmer, form's okay. Fernandes and Caicedo are starting to click now over the last 2-3 games. Yes, it's against relegation fodder, but they can only beat who's in front of them at the moment. So if we're speaking about objectively, this game is going to be a lot tighter than people make it out to be. I'm seeing 4-1 Arsenals and that.
That's
Arsenal are 100% the favourites and are probably better than them in all cylinders, in my opinion. The quality all over the pitch, but don't rule out Chelsea, man. I think that game ends in a draw.
Yeah.
I forgot to say this earlier. Sorry to cut you, Kat. I forgot to say this earlier though. I agree with you, Mont. I do think Arsenal win the game, but if you think a draw it's not ludicrous to say that. But because Chelsea, I think only City and Arsenal have conceded less than Chelsea, so they have one of the best defenses in the league. But I actually read something this morning. This could be the first time this front six starts together. Odegaard, Partey, Rice, Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka. First time this season that six start together. That could be chaos for Chelsea. Could be chaos. But I just think this game's going to be tight because I'm like you, Monts. I've seen 3-0 Arsenal, 4-1 Arsenal. But I do understand where the confidence has come from. I think the last 4 visits to the Bridge is 3 wins and a draw. But Chelsea have a bit of form, man. They have a bit of form. And I think this will be a goal margin. It'll be a 2-1 or a 1-0 Arsenal. But Chelsea can get a draw. Chelsea can 100% get a draw from this game.
Yeah, I just don't think it's as one-sided as people make it out to be. And obviously, Jacobs says no one would be saying Chelsea would get a result if it was against Liverpool. big man. I predicted the draw when Chelsea played Liverpool. I predicted the draw, and I'm a Liverpool fan.
Same. Yeah. I predicted a draw as well.
All we do is draw with Chelsea. That's all we do.
Yeah.
Draw. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So, again, it's the Arsenal faithful on my neck again. So, yeah, man. Don't lose. Do not lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those. Just don't lose. Now, if you don't want to start doing that with me, you know how this ends. You know how this ends.
There's two teams that can't lose when it comes to Mons. United and Arsenal. Them two can absolutely. Mons is at your neck. Pause. But Mons is at your neck.
Well, we're
Chelsea
not
got added to that list with the Caicedo thing and the Chelsea got added to that, but I've kind of like, again, I don't hate Chelsea in it, so the hate died down a little bit. So,
yeah. The last part, before anything as well, we're not going to dive too much into the situation of Chelsea versus Arsenal. We're going to do that tonight at 10 with a rivals panel as well, with Guna Lee, with Lewis, with Roms, myself, and Daps. So we're going to make sure that we give you guys a bit more in depth about that. It's not going to be a preview either. We're going to try to change it. You could call it a preview slightly. We're going to do that probably more on Friday night. But other than that, man, Joe, man, tell them where they can find you. It's in the pin as well for people to know. So if you want to direct them there, it's up to you.
Yeah, just your football show. Heavily Leeds United content, but yeah, it's a laugh, man. We have a good time, and Leeds are winning games of football, and that means we're coming back to the Premier League. So yeah, watch out for us next year, man. We're back. We'll be back.
There you go, man.
You don't sound convinced there, bro. You just went, yeah.
Yeah.
Kaz wants Millwall. Kaz will rather Millwall, wouldn't
it? But yeah, man. Once, obviously, shout out your bit, even though everyone knows by now.
You don't probably know where to find me. Big Six Bands. As I said, it's in the pinned. I'll probably drop it in the chat as well myself. You lot, man, we're close to 7K. Obviously, make sure you guys get to 25K, by the way. Make sure you make that happen. Yeah, we're really close to 7K. I think we're about 180, 170 subs away now. And again, 7K is surreal. But obviously, the big target is 10K. That five figure in it. Be a 5-figure guy. You know what I'm saying? That is one of the big targets. So please, guys, drop a subscribe.
Yeah, man. People asking where's Mo. Mo's a busy man now, man. Mo's got an actual 9-to-5 type job in it, and obviously he's in America, so it's hard for him to come on any streams, let alone his own streams. So Mo's doing his thing. Judge Mo, the name that we made for him, and everything surrounding it. So there you go, man. Mo's not going to be around in general as much as he wants to be. So you might catch him at night. Might catch him on an odd stream, maybe if it's early enough. But obviously he's got to go do his. He's a grown man. Other than that,
it's not nice things, Bond.
What do you say? He never has nothing nice to say.
Yeah,
in a bit, Mo Gender made that up myself as well. So imagine that. But yeah, man, we go forward, we move.